Hey, y'all, and welcome to another edition of the Stripe Show podcast brought to you by OnCore Golf. OnCore designs high-performance golf balls for players of all skill levels and swing speeds. Get fitted for your perfect golf ball today at OnCoreGolf.com. Well, I'm your host every Friday, Samantha Marks. Today, I'm coming at you from Macklemore Club up here in Rising Fawn, Georgia. It's an absolutely beautiful course up here on Lookout Mountain. I just got off the course, shot a smooth little 72. So we're feeling pretty good about the game right now, but we are back with another Happy Hour Express edition of the Stripe Show podcast. It's the fifth major week, as they like to say, the Sanderson Farms, as they like to joke about on golf Twitter. But we've got some big news to run through so far this week, some pretty big headlines coming out earlier Wednesday and Thursday and this week. So first, I'll give you the snapshot of what you need to know before we get into learning about our Korn Ferry Tour grad interview here in just a few minutes. But to catch you up on the week, Bryson is at the Pro Long Drive Association World Championship. First round, he bombed a few like 412-ish, and now he's actually on to the round of 16. But there are some guys that are bombing it, 450, over 450. So not sure how he's going to finish up later in the bracket, but not sure it's going to hold up the rest of the way to the, I guess you say, belting of the world champion with long drive. But nevertheless, he's there and he's killing it. And not only is he hitting it far, but he's hitting it straight. Travis earlier this week talked to Lucas Wald yesterday on Thursday all about strength and speed and how to hit it far. And then on Wednesday, Froggy talked to the 2017 champion, Justin James, who was really explaining, which if you haven't listened, I would highly encourage it, who was really explaining how hard it is to hit that grid. He said that, imagine your high school football field, but then it's 400 yards away, right? So it's a very narrow grid. So people think that, these long drivers just spray it, and that's simply not true. So very interesting, very fun to watch. It's live on a couple of YouTube channels, so be sure to keep an eye out for that today on Friday, and then coming out this weekend too. Well, we've got a few big caddy changes on the PGA Tour coming to light this week. Jim Bones Mackay has been an on-course reporter for NBC Sports for, I think it was 4 years, and now he's going to be going back to full-time caddying for Justin Thomas. No idea really where that came from. Clearly, caddy changes are important. It's important in the game of golf to get a new perspective, to kind of have a reset. And the other person doing that this week is Bubba Watson and Ted Scott. Long-time relationship there. They've been together for 15 years. Says, of course, they're still friends, but coming to the end of the road as far as caddy-player relationship goes. So this is what I really wanted to get to today. I know we're all a little bit removed from the Ryder Cup. We talked about it for like 2 weeks straight. Totally get it. I still miss it. But Shane Lowry speaking out this week, obviously, on Team Europe, saying that his match against Patrick Cantlay was irritating. And here's the direct quote. Quote, "Yeah, Cantlay pissed me off a little bit on the 8th, to be honest. I was lining up my putt and he was riling up the crowd, which I didn't think was great. In Rome, we'll hopefully win and win in a different style. That's how I'm looking at it." So lots of controversy around that, but he also said that it wasn't just Patrick Cantlay that he was annoyed with. He said that he wasn't happy with Bryson and JT after they were like laying their putters parallel to the hole, as if to say, like, why didn't you give me that putt? I know we all remember and saw that. And Lowry said, he said, quote, "I wasn't giving them anything because I was getting booed." So, interesting controversy there. A lot of people were saying it just comes off as like, oh, you're just mad you lost and da-da-da. But I think the whole audience topic around the Ryder Cup is interesting. It's always going to be different no matter which side of the pond you're on, and people's perspectives of, the crowds and what they're doing. So I thought it was great. Obviously, I thought it was great because the USA won. But other than that, I thought that was a very interesting storyline as well. But this weekend, like I said, we have the Sanderson Farms, the Alfred Dunhill Links over across the pond, and the ShopRite LPGA Classic. So another great weekend of golf upcoming. I'm going to be playing some golf here this weekend. I'm super excited about it. But that's pretty much it for like the top stories need to know this week in golf. And as you know, we're getting to know the upcoming, I guess they're now on the PGA Tour players, the Korn Ferry Tour guys who secured their cards for this season on the PGA Tour Tour over the next several weeks. Well, this week, we're getting to know number 10 of the graduates, Lee Hodges. I absolutely loved getting to know Lee. We caught up earlier this week, right before he was teeing off at the Sanderson Farms in his second PGA Tour event. So I loved getting to know him on and off the golf course. Big football guy from Alabama, so lots of football passion there. But here is a little bit more about him. Check it out. Lee, thanks for joining us on the Stripe Show podcast. Where are you calling in from today? You look like you're at a clubhouse.
Yeah, I'm at the Sanderson Farm Championship here in Jackson, Mississippi.
And how's the course looking so far? This is your, second event on the PGA Tour?
Yeah, no, it's perfect. Yeah, the green, some of the best greens I've ever played on. And tee to green course is just immaculate, so really looking forward to it.
It sounds like it's going to be a great event. Obviously, the Ryder Cup having just ended last week. Did you watch any of it? What was your takeaway from Team USA's big victory?
Yeah, no, I watched pretty much all of it. I was off last week, so I was practicing, had it on my phone in the cart, so it was awesome. Yeah, it's awesome to see those guys playing so well. And I think it's just great for USA golf in the future. You know, we had a really young team, and to win that big and with that young of a team, I think says a lot for the future.
Is that one of your goals or your peers' goals? Is that something that's talked about just as much as it is with winning a PGA Tour event, or is it kind of a different scale?
Yeah, I don't know about everybody, but that's definitely, a really big goal for me. I've never junior golf, amateur golf, I never got to play for the United States of America. So just being able to wear the red, white, and blue would be really cool. So hopefully one day I get to do that.
Yeah, it was an awesome to have Xander win the Olympics as well. Big year for Team USA and USA Golf. How about the Olympics coming back into kind of the scope of things for golf? Was that an exciting thing for you to watch and also have a goal for?
Yeah, so I mean, obviously I'd never seen that, as nobody else really had, but it was really cool. I feel like anytime you get to represent your country is just such a big deal and such a big honor for anybody. So yeah, it'd be definitely a big goal of mine. And it was really cool to see Xander do that.
Yeah, it's been awesome to watch kind of the country events recently. It has definitely a different vibe than the President's Cup. But you're 26. Let's get to the basics. You're from Alabama. Been playing since 2018 as a professional golfer on the Forum Tour, the Korn Ferry Tour. Clearly had a great season on the Korn Ferry Tour. Graduated, got that PGA Tour card and the 10th spot. But describe that feeling getting the card after working your ass off for so many years.
Yeah, it's hard to explain, really. It was wild. Yeah, as you said, so much work going into it, and it was just such a euphoric feeling, just kind of knowing that everything I had been doing and everything I had been, working on pretty much my whole golf career was paying off. So it was good to see that, and just kind of reassured me that what I was doing was right.
And how was the past season in your own words? Because we know it was long. It was way longer than normal. But we talked to a few other players, and in other seasons, you maybe could have won once and then kind of coasted throughout the rest of the season. But that was not the case this year.
Yeah, no, I've said it a couple of times. I think, in 5-10 years time, I think this will definitely go down as probably the strongest class that this Korn Ferry ever had. Just because, as you said, you couldn't just win and kind of get your card. You had to play well for a long time. You couldn't just, flash in the pan kind of thing. You had to really play well for a long time. So I think everybody that got their cards are a really, really good player and will be contending now and for a long time.
And that's an interesting point, because I was going to bring up the point of consistency, because you had 9 top 10s over the course of the season. And obviously with the super long season, that consistency is important, but it's hard to do with not really much of an off season in between. How were you able to garner that consistency on the course?
Yeah, I think it's just kind of goes with my game. I always have a pretty good game plan going into the week. I stick to it as best I can. And then, I just I really pride myself on consistency. That's what I've always kind of done my whole career, amateur, junior golf, whatever it's been. Really staying consistent with my ball striking and putting, and just trying to shoot the best score I can every day.
What was it like in your circle with, your wife, your caddy, your coach, your family, everybody kind of rallying around you in that last event of the season, and then to finally have it pay off? Tell us what those next couple of days were like.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, it's, everybody dreams about doing it, but, I don't know, it doesn't really sink in until it happens, and so, yeah, it was a great, night. We had so much fun that night. And then, yeah, the next couple of days I got to go home because I was off after that, and then got to see all my friends and family at home, and that was obviously super special as well. But yeah, having my parents and my wife and my coach there was it was a really special day, and one that I'll cherish for a long time.
What do you think clicked differently for you this year? Obviously, I mean, you haven't been on tour or touring for 3 years, so it's not like you've been out there for 20 years, but what was different this year than maybe last year?
I mean, attitude really. I just kind of knew I was good enough to play out there, And my first year, like I kind of struggled with that a little bit, kind of thinking I had to do too much, and not really being me, and just kind of feeling like I had to do more than what I could do. And last year, I just played my game, and after the first couple events, I had some really good finishes. I was like, well, that's all I got to do. It's my game's good enough. So I just stuck to what I was doing and just kept playing a lot of really good golf.
Which worked because you won the Portland Open. Is that correct?
Yep.
Tell me about that. How did the last round play out? What was it like? Give us a rundown.
Yeah, it's probably the hardest round I've ever played, just because like the course was playing really hard, the wind was blowing, and obviously I was tied for the lead with one of my really good friends, Paul Barjon, and just a hard day. It's hard to win. It's the first time I've really been in like really good contention, like pretty much felt like I should win if to say, and it's just hard until you get it done, and then you're like, it's such a relief and such a great feeling. But yeah, it's really hard to win out here. That's all I can say. And then it's such a good feeling when you do it.
And then looking ahead to the rest of the PGA Tour season, obviously we're just starting the 2021-2022 season, second event of the year. But how do you personally set goals? I know everybody kind of does things differently, but what do your goals look like when you beginning of the season, sit around with your team and kind of figure out what we're going to strive for this year?
Yeah, so I do that with my coach. He's been my coach since I was 11, so it's the only person I've ever worked with. And we just kind of sat down and said we wanted to, be at the top of categories, ball striking, overall short game, stuff like that. And then just other stuff, off the course, I wanted to be in a little better shape. So I've really been trying to take care of my body more, and, it's just stuff like that. So we sat around and made a list of goals. I think he's got it on his phone, and he'll send it to me sometimes. And it's really good to have that to look at.
Let's talk a little bit about distance, because the Long Drive Championship's going on this week. Is distance something that you are striving for, that you're seeing people around you striving for, with the likes of Bryson and people like that kind of making their way into that space? Is that something that you and your coach are looking at?
I mean, we're always trying to hit it further, but no, I'm not trying to gain 30. I'm just trying to gain 5, So it's I'm not sure I have quite the build Bryson does. I'm not the biggest guy in the world, but I'm not small, but I'm not the biggest guy in the world. So, I'm going to have to beat him in other ways. So that's kind of what I focus on, getting in the hole the fastest.
Well, speaking about the golf swing, Travis, as you know, is an instructor. So I do like to ask a few instructional questions as well. Yeah. The audience loves to talk about that stuff. So everybody kind of has their swing, flaw, or one thing that they kind of go back to. For me, I would get way too quick at the top back when I played in college. But what is when your swing is off, what is it for you that you and your coach always have to kind of go back to and refine?
Yeah, for me, I just get too far left. I kind of like a little over the topish kind of move. And if I can keep the club back and kind of hold it, wait on it a little longer at the top. I don't know if it's quick, but it's just kind of, I get a little left, my path will get too far left with a square to open club face, and I can hit these kind of pull cuts and stuff. So anytime I can feel draw, but it doesn't draw, if that makes sense, that's when my swing's really good. But when it's off, I just miss it a little right sometimes.
That makes sense. Well, transitioning, I did some research and found out you're a huge football fan. Oh, yeah. Understandable, because you went to Alabama, right? So Alabama's obviously got a pretty good team. My Arkansas Razorbacks are coming for y'all this year, so just be warned about that. What do you say?
My swing coach is a huge Razorback.
Good, as he should be. We're really good this year for like no reason, but your cousin is an offensive lineman in the NFL. Tell me about that.
He is, yeah. His name's Logan Stenberg. He plays for the Detroit Lions. Yeah, he's an unbelievable athlete. He's my first cousin, and yeah, it's kind of weird. Like, I remember we grew up together. Obviously, our moms are sisters, and so we've spent a whole lot of time together. And I just remember one day, all of a sudden, I looked at him, and we were the same size. Next day he was like 6'5", 300. So he got the different side of genes than I did.
I read also that you want to own a golf course one day. Is golf course architecture kind of something that you are interested in, or something you always look at when you're out at these events?
Yeah, I do. Again, my coach is a huge golf course architect guy, and it's kind of rubbed off on me a little bit. He tries to, when we're at courses, he tells me what the little different nuances of it are. And I think I could design a pretty good course. So I would love to do that one day.
That's awesome. I don't know why when I was a kid, I used to draw out holes that were like the most basic holes of all time. They were not good at all. And I told myself I was going to have a golf course one day that was called Ladybug Links.
Perfect.
Like, that's something that a 5-year-old would, I was probably 5. But I also read that you have a lot of superstitions. Too many to count is what it said, quote unquote. Give me maybe your top 2 on the golf course, because I've got some weird ones too.
Well, I don't know why they put that on there. I really don't. I mean, like any other golfer, like they change week to week. If I eat eggs for breakfast and I shoot 65, I'm probably going to eat eggs the next day. But nothing that keeps going. I use the same ball marker. I use a 1996 quarter because that's the year my wife was born, and that's pretty much the only thing I do from week to week. But I'm just like any other golfer. If I do something in the morning and I play well, I'm probably going to do it again. So just stuff like that.
Yeah, that's definitely not as extreme as they made it seem on the web.
They make it really extreme, but no, nothing that huge.
I like it. I would never play the number 3 sleeve because I would look down and I don't know why my brain would say that I was going to 3-putt every time, but
I can see that. Yeah.
So I never played the 3s. So my dad, he would always play the 3s. Every single dozen, I would always give it to him. So it works out pretty well. Well, hey, we're doing this series, obviously talking to all the Korn Ferry Tour guys who are graduated now on the PGA Tour. So I guess I can stop calling you a Korn Ferry Tour guy. We're going to do some quick rapid fire questions. These are kind of all over the board. Whatever comes to your mind as quick as possible. Okay.
Perfect.
Biggest thing you're excited about this season on the PGA Tour?
Playing with the best.
Best tip for the weekend golfer?
Don't 3-putt.
Top 3 players you're most excited to play with on the PGA Tour?
Tiger Woods, Rory McIlroy, Harry Higgs.
What or who motivates you?
My wife and me,
That's a great answer. 3 words to best describe you as a person off the golf course.
Funny. I think I'm funny. Supportive and caring.
3 words to best describe your golf game.
Consistent. Not overpowering, but finesse.
Okay. Do you have any passions that are not golf related?
Duck hunting.
Okay. If you weren't a golfer, what would you be doing with your life?
Oh, something in golf. Teaching, maybe.
And then your top 3 favorite courses you've ever played?
Bandon Dunes, Cypress Point, Shoal Creek.
Best advice you were ever told?
Just be you.
And the last question, your most memorable golf shot to this day?
My first ever college tournament, the last hole of it, I made a double eagle.
Did you win?
No, I think I finished like 12th.
But that's still pretty amazing. What course was that at?
I don't know what it was called, but it was in Minnesota. I don't know what the course was called though.
And you hold out?
3-wood.
Oh my God. Wow. Has that ever happened again? Have you ever hold out with 3-wood again?
I made 1 hole in 1, and that was just with some of my friends, and that was the only double eagle I ever made in competition and all.
That's a good feeling over a 3-wood to have a memory of that.
It was really cool, yeah. And it was my first tournament, so.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, Lee, thank you so much for joining us. I loved all of your answers and getting to chat with you today, and we'll be wishing you great luck and success on the PGA Tour this season.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much, Lee. Make it a great day.
Appreciate it.